Alright, so now we'll start getting into a little bit more detail on this. Now, I'm only going to do a couple forms, as I said, just to give you examples. Now, I'm going to use that word examples very, very, very often. This is just an example. In other words, if you're producing a gun, especially in my class, if you're using this as a supplement, that's another story altogether. That's up to your instructor. But if you're doing this for my class and using this set of videos to catch up on some stuff, um, this is only an example, and I do not want you to do the monkey see, monkey do thing. Okay? I often tell students don't do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take these faces, push them in a little bit. So I got this. So as an example on how to cut a hole in something, I gave you that in chapter 2 or 1, but I'm going to show you how to make these look like they're attached first before we cut a hole in these. Okay, so we go like that, and we extrude off that one form. And this is what we get. Okay, then if you want to straighten out all the vertices at the top, you can do that. Just by scaling negative. And that flattens out all the top. Now, before you go cutting holes in anything or doing any wacky things like that, this is your first form. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to kind of brace this a little bit before we go adding more detail. In other words, remember I always hit 3 on the keyboard and things start doing that. Okay, so what I want to do is brace this object a little before we add a hole in it. Okay, so 3 on the keyboard. Okay, starting to get a little bit harder edge. That's good. Okay, so I'm just always placing my edges in and hitting 3 and seeing how that pans out. Okay, good, good. Alright, there we go. Now that's all braced nice and neat. And I get the mixture between hard edge and a pseudo soft edge going on. And in 3, you can also add these loops. You know, it's not like you have to keep switching between 1 and 3. It's just easier for me to kind of show you where to insert them in 1. Okay, so now think about how we did this. I showed you how to cut a hole in a pyramid in one of the lessons, okay? So it's a lot like that. The thing I would say though is think ahead. This object's positive x is on this side, okay? So make changes only to your positive x. So this side is the side I'm going to aim for as far as taking this face and extruding it just a little bit in and going like that. Okay. Then I'm going to delete the face. Same with this side. I extrude red, then green, the scale, and delete it. Alright, so why did I do that on the positive x side? Well, that's very easy. Okay, first off, keep note of y and z. Okay, y and z make up the plane that goes down the center of this. And then we're going to use that tool that I showed you before. It's called Mirror Cut, square box. And here is Y and Z. Apply it. And there we go. How about we turn wireframe unshaded on so I can see that everything is copacetic. And good to go. Okay. Command D to duplicate it. And there we have our beginning part. And I'm just going to kind of put this in place a little bit. And then we're going to worry about how to fill that hole. Well, there's another trick I showed you in one of the videos that corresponded to filling a hole. And now you can start seeing why I used very small examples. Here to here is the hole. And I bridge it. And this time I want to bridge it with a division of 1. And what that'll do, it'll match this right here. This ability to mirror it down the center. Okay, again, edge 1, edge 2, G on the keyboard. G on the keyboard. And I do the same back here. Now, if you were paying attention, you'll also note that there is a bug within Maya that makes it so merging of the vertices does not work in this case. Okay. So, I'll show you an example of that, just in case as a refresher. I'm going to take this and export selection. And I'm going to choose exporting as an OBJ. And here's my fix me object. Okay, then I'm going to take and move this ever so slightly down. And file import my fix me object. And on this one, I'm going to insert an edge loop here. And you're going to see it doesn't work. Okay? So, what happens is, just because you added a bridge in there and then exported it, there was one step that I skipped. And hopefully you were going, oh, you forgot that one step. But if you weren't, it is taking all the vertices on the inside and this is shift and control, by the way. So I'm only highlighting the vertices on the inside, the ones that need merging. I try to stay away from over merging because it leads to problems. So if I was to hit merge right now, these two would merge, and that would be bad. Okay. Depending on what my setup for merge was. So I try to stay away from all that. Okay, good. And now I can go edit mesh, merge, square box. Now I have mine set incredibly high because I was doing something earlier. I'm going to reset this and save it and apply it. Okay. Then export it. And then re-import it. All this for a hole. So anytime I need a hole in there, I'm like, oh god, that means I'm going to have to do the little trick. And so now you can see the edge goes all the way around. Good to go. Alright, and again, I had to straighten out my form. 3 on the keyboard will indicate that it is collapsing in on itself. Well, I gotta start bracing some stuff. What am I going to be bracing? Where am I going to insert these edge loops at? And I'm doing this on every corner. Here and here. 3 on the keyboard. Good to go. Okay, in the next video I want to show you how to add a little bit more detail, and then we'll go into something else.